Hello, and welcome to webinar number 3 in the series, Don't Buy It, Build It. In the last 2 webinars, we covered the big picture, why the shift is happening, the SaaS apocalypse, $2 trillion in market cap, gone. And then we organized our brains with the powerful combo of Obsidian and Claude Code. If you missed those 2, the links are always going to be in the description. Today, we're going to build again, not 1, but 2 applications. This is the session where you see what Claude can actually create for your business on demand. Here's the problem. If you're one of the people that are back again for part 3, or even you're just watching this video, then you're likely one of those people who are paying for software right now that does maybe 1 or even 2 things. A scheduling tool, a lead tracker, a calculator on your website, a client portal, $30 here, $50 there, $100 for the fancy one. Add it up and you're spending $200, $500, maybe $1,000 a month on tools that each do one simple thing. And half of them don't even talk to each other. What if I told you that you could build most of these yourself today with no code, no developer, no technical experience? I'm going to prove it to you in this webinar. Some of you guys saw the last webinar and thought, that terminal stuff looks cool, but I'm not a developer. I don't want to learn command line stuff. I hear you. That's where I started off, and that's why today, we're doing everything inside of Claude Desktop. This is what your dashboard is going to look like. It looks a lot similar to Claude Chat. If you're coming in from ChatGPT or Gemini or any other application, then you're quite familiar with this setup. This makes Claude Code so easy to start and get into. You have pretty much everything that you have in Chat, with the exception of a few things, which I'll show you guys how to use in this webinar. So this is, you can download it from the Anthropic website. And as always, I'm going to leave the links for everything that you're going to need in the description below. You open the app, you essentially type in a prompt in plain English, and Claude is going to build it for you. It's that simple. And in this build, there's a part that's going to blow your mind. It's a feature that's been out for about 30 days now, but we can activate it while we're building. So I'll give you guys a preview of that. And it just makes the experience that much better on Claude Code Desktop. Today, we're going to build 2 things. The first is a client-facing tool, something you put on your agency website to generate leads. The second is an internal tool, something that helps you run your business better. Both of them are going to take about 10 to 15 minutes each. And I'm not going to speed anything up. You're watching it happen in real time. All right, the first build. I'm going to show you something I actually built for my own business. So this is the current version of the AI ROI calculator for Ottomato.ai. So we're going to build something very similar to this. So essentially, when a potential client comes in, they answer a few questions about their business, and it tells them how much they're going to save or how much they can save by working with us. It captures their email. It's a lead generation machine. I built this with Claude, and now I'm going to show you how to build one yourself, maybe for your own business. Let's say you're a freelance marketing consultant. This is the same persona that we set up last week. If you watch the Obsidian webinar, again, if not, description below has the link. You help small businesses with social media. You want a calculator on your website that shows potential clients, here's what you're losing by not having a social media strategy. Now, of course, this can be adapted to whatever your business is. So if you're providing AI services like Ottomato.ai, this goes in perfectly. You can adapt it to your business quite easily. Just alter the prompt that we're going to use. So let me just walk you through this really quick. This is deployed on a VPS server somewhere, and it's quite fast. So I can go ahead and cycle between my size of the business. I can say, okay, maybe I have let's keep it simple. Actually, we're going to say we have 5 employees. We're going to say we're a micro business, monthly revenue 50K, and these are the issues that we currently have problems with. We're spending about 45 hours a week working on this. Current annual software tools is about 1,200 a year. And the employee who's in charge of this, well, we're paying them 55K a year, for example. Now, they can go ahead and enter their email here. And what's going to happen is that they're going to receive their ROI report directly to their email address. So after they enter their email or choose to skip, this is what they're going to see. So this is their ROI report. And they're going to get a version of this that is pretty much adapted to HTML to their email. And also we're mentioning the growth retainers that we offer our clients here. And if they're ready, they can go ahead and schedule a consultation or learn more. Both of these would lead them to the relevant section in the website. And of course, it can always start over if they like. So the email is going to look something like this. As you can see, it's neat. It's HTML formatted. And this automation is essentially going through an N8N automation. So we still do use N8N, but for cases like this, where setting up an SMTP server could just take a long time or be more costly, it's just much more efficient to do it with N8N. So this is going to be the product or the end result for this app that we're going to build. Now for the live build. So I'm going to type in a prompt in plain English. I'm going to show you what I type using speech to text. And before I do that, I want to show you the folder right here. So we need to choose the local folder where we want our project to live on our machine. Later, we're going to push it to GitHub. I'll show you how to do that in a moment. But until then, we want to choose a folder to make sure it is not going to get mixed in with a different project. Currently, there's a folder that's being chosen that's for my Obsidian vault, and that's not going to work. So let's go ahead and create a new folder. So I created a new folder. I kept everything in lowercase. I'm going to change right here from the current mode into plan mode, and I am going to keep it on Opus. Actually, I'm going to change it to Opus 4.61 million context. It's not necessary for what we're doing here, but I believe I'm going to but I want to revisit this specific project inside of PPA to show you guys how you can expand on it. And I'm going to use it for courses inside of PPA. So after you're done with this, go ahead and join PPA. It's free to join. You can upgrade to get access to advanced courses as we go on. I roll them out on a consistent basis. So we're going to revisit this inside of PPA very, very soon. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with the project. Now, I'm going to use a speech to text software that's actually open source. If you guys want to know what that is, go ahead and join PPA. I have a dedicated section to vibe coding tools that I use, and this is one of them. It's great. It's constantly updated and maintained, and it works on Mac, it works on Linux, and of course, it also works on Windows. All right, so I'm going to turn it on, and plain English, nothing fancy. Here we go. Build me a social media ROI calculator. It should be a multi-step form with 4 steps. Step 1, ask about their business type and size, such as solo, small team, or growing company. Step 2, ask about their current social media situation, as in which platforms, how often do they post, do they have a strategy? Step 3, ask about their goals, more followers, more leads, more sales, and brand awareness. Step 4, show the results, estimated monthly reach, potential leads, revenue impact, and a CTA to book a free consultation. Make it look professional with a clean and modern design. Include a progress bar between steps. All right, so now the speech to text platform is going to transcribe, and you're going to pretty much see everything that I said pop up in the chat box on Claude. All right, so that's pretty much everything. I'm just going to tap enter, trust the workspace. This is just a security precaution for Claude. Notice that Claude always gives you the option to open up a new project in VS Code or Cursor right here from this button. And this doesn't mean that you're actually going to start off in the CLI. If you take this to VS Code, you can always use this version of Claude Code, which would look a little bit different. You can install it via the extension. So you can go to the VS Code extension market, install it from there, and you can just have an individual agent box that is dedicated to Claude accompany your session on this IDE. So yeah, there's one way to do it via VS Code. If you have it installed via the CLI, then you can just deploy it via the CLI. And if you do that, then you could actually open up multiple different windows on the CLI and work on multiple different aspects of the same application. One thing that's really nice about Claude is that it always feels like it's alive. It's not silent by any means. It's always saying funny things or clever things like smooshing, coalescing. I mean, it just keeps talking and talking. And you can see the time elapsed right here and how many tokens have been crunched so far. So now it's starting to plan. It's actually called on 7 tools. And you can check out what the agent is thinking right here, what it's looking at, and its ID and how many tokens it has used so far. So anytime when you're waiting, you can go ahead and launch a browser, and then you could always check on your usage. And this is accessible via these settings. Just scroll down to usage, and you can see how much you've used up so far in your current session for all the models for this week. And Sonnet has its own counter right here. And then you could always refresh. If you need more usage, you can always essentially upgrade your plan with Claude. Okay, so we can see here that it's already planned things out, even though it was silent for just a second. You know, sometimes I get the urge to say, hello, are you still there? But you don't have to. It just picks up right back from where it left off. It's just a small pause. And here we go. Now it's laying everything out along with a summary, and it's asking me whether I approve the plan or not. Notice how this pop-up or modal essentially took over the screen. Build a lead gen social media ROI calculator for Ottomato.ai webinar assets. So it understands actually because I have a universal shared folder, which is essentially the Obsidian vault or similar to an Obsidian vault that we set up in the last webinar, webinar number 2. So it understands that this video and this project is essentially for this webinar. Tech stack, single index.html file with embedded CSS and JS, no build step, no framework, no dependencies beyond Google Fonts, interdeployable anywhere instantly. Step-by-step breakdown, progress bar, so on, so on. So step 1, step 2. In this case, I'm going to approve, and we're going to get going. Now, what happened here, you can notice that the mode for Claude went ahead and changed from plan to ask permissions, which is always asked before making changes. Now, what's going to happen here is every time Claude wants to make a change, it's going to ask me, hey, can I do this? Anytime it wants to run a bash command, which is essentially a terminal command, it will ask you, should I do that? And you have to approve or not. Now, in the settings, as I mentioned in webinar 2, you can always have it bypass permissions. So this is a great way to just bypass permissions. So in our case, I'm going to just say auto accept all edits, and I'm going to see what it's going to come up with. So it just went back to doing its job. And this is essentially how Claude works. Depending on how big the project is, every now and then you can check back on it, or you could just leave it to do its thing, depending on the mode that you gave it. If you forget and you go away and you put on ask permissions, you're going to come back and you're going to see it's probably at 2% project completion, and it's still asking you whether you approve a change or not. So this is something that you want to remember every single time to do this before you step away from your computer so that you don't come back and get disappointed that you're stuck at an earlier stage where it's asking for permission. Now, let's step back for a second. What just happened? I described what I wanted in plain English, and then Claude essentially built it. I previewed it right here. I made changes by talking to Claude, and now we have a working app. No NPM install, no React, no framework debates or Stack Overflows. Just build me this, and Claude just builds it. Now, this is just the simple version, but if you want to get fancy, add email capture, for example, or connect it to a CRM or set automated follow-ups. That's all possible. And that's what we're going to cover inside of PPA. But for the foundation, you just saw how fast that can happen. You could deploy this on your own server for $5 to $10 a month. Personally, I like to use Coolify on my hosting or VPS server. The link is in the description below if you want to get your own VPS for less than the price of a cup of coffee for a monthly subscription, or you can use any hosting service that you prefer. The point is, you own it. No monthly SaaS fees, no vendor lock-ins. It's yours. Now, here's where it gets interesting. In the last webinar, we organized our entire business into an Obsidian vault. All of our clients, leads, tasks, ideas, everything into a single place. Now, what if I told you that same organized data can be the foundation for building internal tools? Because that's exactly what we're about to do. I'm going to take some of that mock data from the vault that I built last time, the lead tracker that we set up, and turn it into a working application. This is the arc of this series. Week 1, we understood why. Week 2, we organized. Now in week 3, we're going to build on top of what we have organized. All right, the second build. This one is personal. This one is for you, not your clients. Remember the vault from last week? We had a lead tracker in there. People we met at coffee shops, LinkedIn DMs, networking events, and so on. And the biggest pain point was I keep forgetting to follow up. So I'm going to take my lead data, which is right here, and then I'm going to go to Claude, where I already set the local folder to the same mock vault folder that we worked on in webinar number 2. And I'm going to give it all this data, put it in between quotations because that's just how I roll. And then I'm going to tap and hold shift and press enter so that it doesn't send the message. Not just yet. I'm not ready to send it. And I want to say, using my speech to text, here's my lead tracker data from my Obsidian vault. Build me a lead follow-up tracker app. I want to see the following. All my leads organized by status, hot, warm, and cold. How many days since the last contact for each lead? Overdue follow-ups. Highlighted in red with a warning. A quick summary at the top showing total leads, overdue count, and potential revenue at risk. Each lead should show their name, business, what they need, and the next action that I should take. Make it look clean and professional. Use color coding red for overdue, yellow for due soon, and green for on track. And notice the mode is going to stay in plan mode right here, and it's local, and we're good to go. This is the correct folder, so we can just go ahead and send this prompt and wait for Claude to start working. And now, as you can see, the session has been initialized. You can always expand to see what's going on. Notice what Claude said here. Good, the vault is in pure markdown, no existing web files. Now let me design the app. We're still in plan mode. Claude and Obsidian go really well together because Obsidian essentially writes all the files in markdown form. So that makes it highly compatible with an AI agent such as Claude. All right, and here is the plan from Claude, same as the first application we built. I love it. So lead cards, summary dashboard, top 3, tells you about the design, implementation, the coloring system, and a verification system. So I'm just gonna go ahead and approve this. It's gonna build it in no time, and I'm pretty sure just like last time, we're gonna go ahead, or Claude is going to give us a preview. All right, so we're being asked for permission, so I'm just gonna tap allow for the session, and then I'm gonna change the mode to bypass permissions, and I'm gonna just fully enable it and remove all the warnings because that's just how I work, because I already have security hooks here and specific security system in place. So really from my end, because I know what I'm doing, I'm not worried about anything. So there you go. Just a very nice looking application created by Claude in approximately 5 minutes. That's all it took. So just another 5 minutes to maybe make changes and 5 minutes to put it on the web and embed it. And within 15, 20 minutes, really, you can have an internal application that you can send to your team and test out, and you should be good to go. So here's what our new app looks like. As you can see, it's a follow-up tracker, overdue follow-ups, total leads, just very easy to understand. Hot leads, warm leads, cold lost, and so on. So these are actually like, this is real data from inside of our vault. But as you can see here, our vault provided information that we can build on top of. So that's really the benefit. This is the power of connecting Obsidian with Claude Code. This is an extension of webinar number 2. But this time around, we're just showing you how you could build apps on top of the data in your vault. Look at that. James Rivera, 9 days overdue, highlighted in red. That's 15 to 20K sitting on the table because I forgot to send an email. This app is screaming at me, follow up. Priya Sharma, waiting on her response, due in 2 days. David Park, need to text him. Mia Thompson, 1 more follow-up before I move her to cold. And at the top, 4 total leads, 1 overdue, potential revenue at risk. All of this came from a markdown file in my vault. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, not everything should be built from scratch. So I put together this framework for you to help you determine. In most cases, especially for internal applications that can easily be put together. And by the way, this is all if you're like a no-coder, you're not advanced, you don't know how to use Claude Code, and you're just starting out with Claude Code or AI agents or AI-driven IDEs, for example, and you're coming in from some no-code application. Some cases, you can build it. In other cases, you should buy it. And not buy it in the sense as like go get an LTD, for example, or take a chance on this other SaaS or whatever it is. It could mean that in some specific cases, like if it's a specific vertical providing you something with something that you need, a service that you need. And it can also mean hire a developer to build it for you. So let's go through this diagram right here. So really, in most cases, the question isn't, can I build it anymore? I build it. It's, should I build it? So to build it, simple focus tool, calculators, trackers, dashboards, internal admin panels, status pages, things along those lines. For buying it, if it needs 10 plus real-time integrations, for example, live payment processing required, or agentic commerce, for example, or specific frameworks, rigid legal compliance requirements. For example, one of my top clients is in the EU, and there's a lot of legal compliance required for their job. Like one small mess up and everything goes, So he decided to hire me to build for him, for his business, which makes a lot of sense for him. Not only does he not have time because he's a professional that has high demand on his talents, but also the fact that there are specific legal nuances and compliance and databases and several connections and automations and security risks. He would rather pay or buy it to get a developer to put all of this together. Now, if you're coming here to learn so that eventually you can develop, you'll get there through PPA. But in the beginning, start with simple tools and then start expanding slowly. Take some time to build a body of knowledge and essentially foundation before you dive in. So guys, I hope that you enjoyed this webinar and you got a lot of value out of it. I know I enjoyed making this. I always enjoy making these webinars. The series finale for this series of Don't Buy It, Build It is coming up next week. Go ahead and join PPA to start networking with other builders such as yourself who are in the same position, or they already own businesses where they are selling AI automation or some sort of packaged AI services on PPA, and then you can start learning and upgrade as you advance. Now, there's a very good reason why I'm not focusing on other applications. It's because I've used them all. And at the end, I noticed that Claude Code is the best. And it makes a lot of sense to invest and go all in specifically on Claude Code. I use Claude Code on a daily basis. I'm a Claude Max plan subscriber, and I intend to be for a very long time. And I'm actually taking like all the exams and applying for the partner program and thinking of actually going for the certification to get Ottomato certified. So my point is there's just a lot of changes coming to PPA, and I'm rolling them out as soon as I can while juggling client projects at the same time. And I'm actually building a really interesting open source project that essentially uses Claude Code in the background to do everything OpenClaw does, just minus all the security vulnerabilities, where your data is much safer and it runs on your Anthropic subscription or API. So that is coming out very, very soon on PPA. Free to join. I'll see you guys there. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.